Big deal.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late.
Oh, it's all good. It happens. We'll get started with Mark Berman.
Good morning. I was curious, was there a certain point in the season or even in the preseason where you kind of looked around the locker room and go and realized, this roster's gelling pretty well. This could be an NCAA tournament team this year.
I never really thought of it in that terms. I thought from the very beginning when we had our first team meeting and our guys came together, that there was just a something. There was a connection, there was a vibe, there was an energy, there was a chemistry about them. And I think it started with just the makeup of the character of the individuals that were selfless about winning, and about everything else secondary. And then we had our trials and tribulations like every team has, and we've weathered those storms. The guys have continued to stick together, and we've been about excellence every single day. It's just always had a special feel in my heart about the type of chemistry this team had. And I think that's a big story to the success of our season.
You'll be coaching against Ben Burnham tomorrow. What do you remember about the contributions he made for you when you were coaching
I
him?
love Benny. Benny is one of the neatest kids that I've ever coached. Uh, Everything that we want our programs to be about, Benny exemplifies. He comes from an unbelievable family. His mom is so special and raised him into a first-class human being. He is tough. He's tenacious. He's a competitor. He's a winner. He's a team player. He's talented. He's strong. He's physical. I love Benny. I don't, usually do this. But like it was so weird preparing for him. And I texted him last night and I said, man, this is so awkward. And he texted me back and he goes, Coach, awkward is what we do. And that's a little inside joke between he and I, because I always say he more than any human being that I ever met thrives in awkwardness. Like you could just stare at him and he'd stare back at you, and there wouldn't be an awkward bone in his body. And that's just he's unbelievably funny. He's got a great sense of humor in that way. And then the last thing he had was just good talk, coach. I hate preparing for him because he's such a good player and he's so tough. And I'm so glad he's with such a world-class human being as Mike Young and such a great coach as Mike. And I'm proud of him.
Thank you.
Tyler Griever.
Hey, Pat, you've talked a lot about James Scott and kind of his dogged desire to just keep getting better and keep improving no matter what. Where have you seen him take the biggest step forward in his game this year?
Everywhere, just because he wants to get better every day. Every nuance of every drill, he wants to get coached. He wants to know the details. He studies on his own. So I think every aspect of his game's got better. I mean, he works on his shooting every day. He works on his three-point shooting, works on his free throw shooting. He really studies passing. He picks the brain of Ali Khalifa, who's one of the best passing bigs in the world. His screening has gotten better and better. It just every area improves just because he's so diligent in his process.
Brooks Holton. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, Pat. You spoke a lot about how, one of the main goals for your team is to have the top culture in the country. And there's been a lot said just about, from you specifically about how much this team is kind of led by the players. I'm just wondering, kind of going back to Mark's question, did you have a sense that this team was going to be so led by players, really early on in the season when you guys get together over the summer and just, as a coach, how do you foster that sort of culture where you feel like the players are stepping up during games? And you've said sometimes there are moments in games where you just kind of, let them sort things out in the huddle.
Yeah, same answer. We knew early on just because we recruited that way. We want guys that were about the right things, and these guys are about the right things. I told them really early on that if we were going to be special, we were going to be player-led versus coach-led. And I think all coaches would tell you that when their teams are player-led, you have a chance to be special. And it's not just one guy. We have an unbelievable group of leaders We have an older team, a veteran team that come from great programs, as I've said many times. And, there's no scoreboard to say whether another program's got a better culture than we do. We can just try in our minds, to say in every aspect of our program and everything we do every day, we do it at an elite level. And that's what we try to do. The results aren't perfect all the time. You have dips, you have peaks, you have valleys, because that's part of the process of a season. But I knew the makeup of our individuals were really special early on in that summer, just getting to know those guys, getting to know their hearts. And it's just being about selfless, and it's being about others more than yourself. That's it. We say, have a great attitude and be a great teammate. Have a great attitude and be a great teammate. Those more than anything else are the most important. That's what our
Sarandon,
guys
go
are
ahead.
about.
Sarandon, go
Pat.
ahead.
As you're heading into the final stretch of the season, is there something that you're focusing on with your team to make your team that much better so you head into tournament time and you just have perfected that one little thing?
Yeah, I think it's hard to say one little thing. Obviously, I think it starts and stops and centers in our defense. The better part of the last 2 months, I've said it many times that our guys, commitment on that end of the floor is going to make or break our team and our season. And our guys have been wholly bought into that with both feet. And, obviously, do we work on our offense every day? You darn right we do, because I think we have one of the more efficient offenses in the country. But where the majority of our focus is and always will be is on that end. And I've said that since the first press conference I had. Everybody talks about, man, they can score and all this stuff. But, the heart and soul of our program has to be the grit, the nastiness, 1-2 on the defensive end. And that'll always be the number one focus.
Pat, I'm out of time for today. Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.